Welcome everybody. Here we're gonna talk about how porn disrupts your hormonal system. So, when you watch porn, your brain releases several key hormones that play a role in your mood, motivation, behavior. And here is a detailed breakdown of what happens hormonally and how it affects you over time. Because yes, we're not gonna only talk about like instant gratification, we're also gonna talk about what happens on the long term. Okay, so we're gonna talk about first the dopamine, oxytocin, prolactin, testosterone, cortisol, and serotonin. So I will try to make this video course a little bit shorter because, I have to be as quick as possible so you can guys have more time and understand more knowledge and less time. So first, the dopamine. For those people that don't know, dopamine is the pleasure and addiction hormone. The role of the dopamine is that your dopamine is the reward and motivation neurotransmitter. It is responsible for pleasure, motivation, and reinforcement of behavior. And when you do something that feels good, eating, exercising, achieving goals, the dopamine is released to reinforce that behavior. Okay? So, how porn affects dopamine? Porn hijacks the dopamine system by overstimulating it. Okay? Overstimulating it. So, watching porn gives you a natural supernormal dopamine hits because, yes, you're gonna get a lot of dopamine hits every single time you are going to watch porn. The more you watch, the more your brain desensitizes to dopamine, leading to dopamine resistance. Okay, needing more extreme content to feel aroused. So this is the reason why every single time you're gonna watch porn, you're gonna change the things, the category, or your taste of videos that you are watching on Pornhub or whatever. Um, it's because you need more dopamine hits. You need to satisfy your dopamines. You need to activate more your dopamine receptors in order to make yourself feel pleasure. And that's the reason why you watch porn, to make yourself feel pleasure. So, excuse me for the nose. I'm a little bit sick. So, loss of motivation for real life activities. Sense normal rewards feel dull. So, just waking up and eating or going to the gym or stuff like this is gonna be so weird. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna feel normal. It's gonna be so boring, and that's the reason why a lot of people keep fapping just because they feel bored. And a lot of people needs to be bored. Being bored is not something bad, okay? So every single time you're gonna watch corn and stuff like this, you're gonna need more dopamine hits, which gonna lead you to activate more your dopamine. And the more your dopamine is activated, the less you're gonna feel motivation and real life activities. Okay, so it also lowers your attention span and focus due to constant instant gratification. So for those people that don't know, instant gratification is simply when you watch a porn, a video or something like this, and you get this, you get this hit, and this hit is instant. And every single time you're gonna scroll on TikTok or stuff like this or watching porn, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna get this instant pleasure. And this is what we call gratification. Okay, instant gratification. So let's talk now about the long-term effects of porn and on dopamine. So reduce the motivation, you lose interest in pursuing goals, which is definitely makes sense. Then it's gonna decreases satisfaction from real life rewards. Like I've said, your life gonna be boring just by doing the tasks that you have to do every single day, and it increased dopamine craving. So literally, think about it. Just by watching porn, you're gonna get more dopamine, and the more you're gonna get more dopamine, the more you need more dopamine hits, and the more you're gonna need more dopamine hits, the more you're gonna need more dopamine cravings. Okay, that's a lot of dopamine. So leading to action-like behavior. So now that was the first part, which is dopamine. Now we're gonna talk about oxytocin. So the bonding and trust hormone. Yes, there is a specific type of hormones that are gonna make you feel a specific type of way. So oxytocin is just about the bonding and trust hormone. The role of oxytocin is that oxytocin is known as the love and bonding hormone. It is released during physical touch, hugging, sex, and deep emotional connections. Okay, this is the reason why you're gonna feel so good when you're gonna talk with your girlfriend, when you're gonna hug her, and whatever. And this is why a lot of girls or probably men um, love have prioritized physical touch or maybe hugging or maybe kissing as well. It's because they make them feel like their body produce this oxytocin. Okay, so it helps also create a sense of trust and connection with others. Okay, trust. How porn affects oxytocin? So, porn tricks your brain into bonding with artificial images instead of real life. Okay, it makes sense. I'm not going to explain this. Over time, it reduces your ability to connect with real partners. Okay, this is the reason why you're gonna feel more isolated when you're gonna watch corn. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to have this confidence to go and talk with people, and that's probably the reason why you cannot talk with women in real life if you are watching corn specifically. Then it causes social anxiety and isol. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Isolation, since your bending responses is rewired towards screen rather than real human interaction. You know what I'm saying? So everything makes sense. Literally, everything makes sense. And the long-term effects of porn on oxytocin is that it weakened emotional connections with real life, real people, specifically in real life, and and increased loneliness and social withdrawal. Okay, and by the way, this is one of the reasons why corn industry is working on. They are working on making you feel more lonely, so you can um, go and seek a therapist or whatever, so they can make money, have more, let's say, power. Okay, so the difficulty in forming deep romantic relationships as well, and this is the reason why also once again a lot of couples break up or stuff like this. It's because oxytocin need to be produced in a natural way, in a good way, in a positive way. But if you watch corn, it's gonna be in a negative way. Okay? It's not good by all meanings. So now we're gonna go into prolactin, which is I already talked about this in my videos. So for those who don't know, prolactin is a hormone, just like every hormone here, the post-satisfaction hormone. The role of prolactin is that prolactin is released after orgasm to create a feeling of relaxation and satisfaction. That's the reason why every single time you're gonna bust a nut, if I can say it like this, you're gonna feel more relaxed. It's because this prolactin is released into your body, which is gonna make your body relaxed, okay? And it happens more for females. Females produce more this hormone, which is called prolactin. That's the reason why they're gonna feel more relaxed, if you know what I'm saying. So it reduces sexual desires after intercourse, allowing the body to rest. That's what I said. So how porn affects prolactin? Well, porn causes excessive prolactin release. Okay, so leading to extreme tiredness after ejaculation. Literally, that's the reason why um, you're gonna feel extremely tired, bored, nothing to do. Literally, you're just gonna feel like you don't want to do, you don't want to do anything. The second thing is that you're gonna get mood crashes, okay? Feeling empty, guilty, or depressed after watching corn because your mood gonna crashes, which is makes sense, okay? So, like I've said, the um the role of prolactin is also, let's say, stabilize your mood, okay? So every single time you're gonna watch corn and you're gonna bust a nut or uh, let's say making your semen goes out of your body, this white energy, white diamond, I like to call it white diamond. So this is the reason why you're gonna feel empty and specifically guilty. A lot of people feel guilty, just like me as well. When I used it to fap a lot of times and bust a nut, I always felt guilty and also depressed. You know what I'm saying? After watching porn. So lower libido and erectile dysfunction, which is called ED. You know what I'm saying? When we cannot get up. PEAD, due to excessive downregulation of arousal. Okay, so when it comes to the long-term effects of porn on prolactin, this is what's gonna happen. So first, you're gonna reduce motivation due to constant cycles of releases and exhaustion. As you can see, we talked about like more about this motivation stuff. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, motivation is something that we all need, and it's produced more when it comes to dopamine. You know what I'm saying? And if you keep watching corn and stuff like this, then your dopamine or let's say your motivation gonna go down. If it's go down, it's gonna be hard for you to do everything. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why a lot of people are gonna be bored. So decreases testosterone production, making you feel less energetic and masculine. Makes sense. Sexual dysfunction, making real intimacy less exciting as well. This is very important because a lot of people that watch corn and they have a partner, you know what I'm saying? It's bad. It's not normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not normal. It's bad. Does that make sense? I hope this makes sense so far. That's the reason why when you're gonna want to have sex with your partner, your wife specifically, it's gonna be hard for you. It's not the same. It's not stimul. It doesn't. It's not gonna make you stimulate. the same as if you're watching corn, if that makes sense. So now we're gonna go to testosterone, which is very, very important, and we all have to talk about this. So testosterone is the masculinity and energy hormone. I know everyone that gonna watch this session, they all know what this testosterone means. So the role of testosterone is the primarily primary male hormone responsible for sexual desires and libido, muscles growth and strength, confidence, dominance, and motivation. As you can see, once again, motivation. So how porn affects testosterone? While watching porn, briefly rises testosterone. So when you're gonna watch porn, just a quick little rise of testosterone. Frequent masturbation lowers overall testosterone levels over time. Makes sense. There's a lot of scientific studies that show this, and I already talked about this in the first model. Okay, so if you guys want to know more further informations about what happens when you fab, then just go watch the first model. Inside the model, you're gonna find 3 sessions for now, and then we're gonna add more. So yeah, chronic porn use overstimulates your brain. I already said this, leading to hormonal imbalances and a decline in natural testosterone production. Okay, so let's now talk about the long-term effects of porn on testosterone. So it weaker, literally, it weakens your masculinity, weaker masculinity and lower energy levels, um, reduced confidence and attractiveness, and increased fatigue and brain fog. Yes, you're gonna have a lot of brain fog. The reason why it's because it's gonna touch your prefrontal cortex, specifically your frontal lobe, which is the um, which is the role of taking actions, thinking, critical thinking as well, and memory, and more and more and more. Okay, I already talked about this as well in the first model, if I do remember, or the second model as well. So now we're gonna talk about cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and I know you guys probably um, know about this stress hormone as well. It's because it's very famous. So the role of cortisol is that cortisol is the stress hormone responsible for handling pressure and alertness. Okay, alertness specifically. Normally, it helps you wake up, focus, and respond to challenges. Okay, so how porn affects cortisol? Watching porn spikes cortisol levels, especially after excessive binge watching. So here it really, really depends, but here I'm talking about like in general for the average person. Okay, so chronic porn use leads to high stress, anxiety, and difficulty relaxing. Like I've said, it makes sense. Sorry for the noise. I don't know what the fuck is going on in the street. So, it causes adrenaline fatigue where your body struggles to produce enough energy throughout the day. Okay? And finally, the long-term effects of porn on cortisol is that increased anxiety and nervousness, higher levels, even when not watching porn, okay? Weakened immune system, making you more prone to sickness. This, like, all of the things that I just said make sense. If you guys think logically, it does make sense. The reason why you're gonna have all those problems is that every single time you're gonna take off this energy, take off this white diamond from your body every single day, literally every single day, it does make sense you're gonna have a weak immune system. It does make sense that you're gonna have a higher stress levels. It does make sense that you're gonna get more anxiety and nervousness. Okay, so I can feel related with this, especially in the exams when I use it to study more for my diploma. I had this problem a lot. I was so freaking anxious. You know what I'm saying? I was stressing a lot, and it's very, very bad. And for those people that don't know, stressing a lot gonna decrease your testosterone. So make sure to not to not make your cortisol stress hormone goes up a lot. And now finally we're gonna talk about the serotonin, which is the happiness and the mood stabilizing hormone. You know what I'm saying? So the role of serotonin is that serotonin is responsible for happiness, emotional stability, and sense of well-being. You know what I'm saying? So it helps regulate mood, appetite, and stress, and sleep. Excuse me, not stress. Stress, it's here. So, how porn affects serotonin? So, just by simply watching porn, it gonna messes up your serotonin regulation, which gonna lead you to mood swings and emotional instability. This is true. Okay, this is the reason why I did this in this video. It's because every single thing that I said in this course is literally related, and I did a lot of research in order to see what the average person feels like, and it's literally the same thing. So it's also you're gonna feel like a loss of motivation to do real life activities. We talked about this a lot of times, so it does make sense. You're gonna feel more bored and increased depression and loneliness after prolonged use. The reason why it's because, like I've said, serotonin is responsible for happiness, emotional stabilities. So every single time you're gonna fap, your emotions, it's not gonna be stable. Know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna touch this hormone, which is serotonin. So on the long-term effects of porn on serotonin. So first, decreased happiness and life satisfaction. Okay, more feelings of emptiness and depression. Okay, emptiness. What the hell is wrong with me? I'm sorry, guys, for the way I articulate. So, more feelings of emptiness and depression. Okay, higher chance of using porn as an emotional escape. This is true, specifically here, okay? So a lot of people when they're gonna feel stressed or when they're gonna have a small problem or whatever, they're always gonna try to watch porn and try to escape the responsibility of having this problem. Because we all need to understand that as men, we all have responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? We all need responsibilities, and that's what gonna make you a man. That's what gonna make you mature person, and that's how it's gonna make you think further when it comes to solving every problems in order to find the best solution they're gonna fix the problem. So now we're gonna talk about the final conclusion. So porn creates a short-term pleasure but long-term destruction of your hormonal system. It leads to addiction, social isolation. I'm sorry, what the hell is wrong? Anyway, stress, low testosterone, and even erectile dysfunction if you keep watching porn, of course. So, quitting porn will restore your dopamine balance, boost testosterone, and bring back motivation. Motivation, we talk a lot about this. Energy and confidence. So, now, as you can see, guys, this is what's gonna happen to you every single time you're gonna fap. Like, think about it. Every single time you're gonna fap, all those hormones gonna be start working. Boom, producing more and more, more working, and it's gonna mess up your hormone. Because if you don't stabilize your hormones, that's the reason why you're not gonna be connected to yourself. So I hope this makes sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know.